Hello and welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping people of all ages and all genders overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. And I'm excited to know that we have been building our community over here under the umbrella of Justice for Shanquella Robinson since November the 23rd, when I did my initiation live, when we started talking about this. And who would have known that 5 months later, nearly going on 6 months later, that there would still be no justice. And not only is there no justice for Shanquella Robinson, there hasn't even been an arrest. No one's been held accountable. There's been nothing, 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 nothing. And I just don't understand why. I had no doubt, with with the visual evidence, as been Crump said, with all the visual evidence, like there was no reason for me to think that there would not be an arrest, several arrests, like, everybody there, because, of there's definitely some laws that were broken there and stuff. So um, it's been it's been a rough road. It's been a rough road because I'm sure, like me, a lot of y'all didn't expect it to, still be carrying on like this months later. In the beginning, everyone had a lot of energy towards this. Everyone was outraged. The story reached around the world. People were coming out on a nightly basis to show support. To actually, we were gathering together because in the beginning, it was difficult. It was very emotional. A lot of us, we were having difficulty sleeping. It was very heavy on our hearts because of what happened and all the things that we were finding out and stuff. And people started to be more aware of fake friends, and we were, on that note, and we started to discover, and I know at least I did, talking about the Shanquella Robinson case, I discovered the term femicide, which was something I had never heard before, and learned a lot about this YouTube, and to see how this thing is really what's really happening here, right? How unbelievable this whole thing is. So I'm just excited because, like I said, over here we have been standing under the umbrella of Justice for Shanquella Robinson because we believe that if we unite, there's strength in numbers. If we unite seeking justice for Shanquella Robinson, that we can leverage that once we get it, leverage that to get justice for past femicides and to do a lot of work to decrease future femicides and domestic violence and those kind of things. People, you only have to, be unalived once, right? So super important that we bring awareness to this. And like I said, over here, we don't do moments of silence. We do moments of speaking, because by keeping silent, this allows the abusers to continue to abuse because people aren't saying anything, right? So that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to sweep this under the carpet. They want us to stop talking about it. In the beginning, when this thing first happened, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. And everybody was watching. Everybody, right? And then it started to take legs and turn into this sensational story where it was all dramatic and stuff. And people started, not, yeah, we were introduced, they started feeding us lies. And a lot of us, either accepted the narrative or stuck to the truth, like the math and science. So, like I said before in prior videos, that over here we stick to math and science. So, one of the things that we had in our favor was the video that showed the attack that matched the injuries that was reported on the death certificate, right? These were things that was presented to us back in November when the story first came out. So like I've said, if we stick to the facts, the original facts, we can we can go forward and continue to stay focused. However, a lot of times when they start, with time, right? So the longer this thing kind of draws out, people lose sight of the facts, right? Because you start following these stories and stuff. And there was even a time when I was, got distracted. It was very brief, but that all the same that it did happen, and to see that because of this new thing, I guess it's not new, but the internet, right? The internet. For those of you who don't know me, I'm 52 years old, a proud Gen Xer, and the proud mother of 3 adult children, 2 XY chromosomes, and 1 XX. And I'm just excited to be a Gen Xer because Gen Xers, we are a special breed of people because we were here before the internet. We was here before the internet. We was here before the internet when we had to rely on reading, writing, and arithmetic to, navigate through life, right? And we verify things with the dictionary, right? We all relied on the dictionary for definitions, and we agreed on those definitions and stuff like that, right? And anyway, and then we are here, we Gen Xers are here, actually a part of the internet and still young enough and with it enough to utilize the internet. And that's one of the great things that's going to happen for this case, is that we are going to use social media to keep it hot for Shanquella Robinson, so we will get justice. We're going to get justice. And I know there's been some people that have come over and put in the chat that the case is going to go cold and that there's not going to be any justice. People are saying that. And I can understand why, people say that. I can understand why. When you just look at the history of things, and these are more math and science too, right? Statistics, they really mean something. They really mean something. So tonight's video or tonight's live, I'm just excited. Today is April the 11th, 2023, and this is the Real Me live in action here. If anybody's out there. What's up, Tommy? Tommy Rose says justice slow for Shanquella Robinson. Yes, it is slow. It's amazing that this happened October 29th, 2022, and the story broke in November. I think it was November 19th. Correct me if I'm wrong. And went viral, right? Everybody saw it. And like I said, everybody saw it. There's millions of views out there with people seeing it, seeing the attack, that ended Shanquella Robinson's life. We saw that. And to think that here we are more than 5 months later and no one's even been detained. No one's been arrested. No one has answered for this. No one has been held responsible. Ain't nothing happened, right? Yes, Tommy, you are exactly right. Justice is slow. Justice is slow. So justice is slow. What's up, La Jessica? Thank you, La Jessica, for coming in here. La Jessica says, hello, RN, and the chat. Yes, La Jessica in here chatting it up with herself. I love you, La Jessica. Thank you so much for stopping by. And please, y'all, hit the like button on your way up in here, because one of the other things that's very significant in this case is that in the beginning, when this, first came out, there was a lot of energy out here, right? The mainstream news was reporting on it. YouTubers were reporting on it. People had started a YouTube channel based on, it was out there. People were looking at it. People were even coming to this channel from all over, right? All over the world. I was getting, people making comments, from all Australia, all over the place, right? And stuff. And then it got to the point after, 60 days, about 70 days or so, the talk about it started to kind of quiet down. And, there was less discussion about it. And the other thing is that the discussion that was being said about it was talking about crazy stuff, right? Deviating from the facts that we saw the attack that matched the injuries on the death certificate that stated Shanquella passed from severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation with a life expectancy after receiving the injuries of 15 minutes. Even though we knew all that stuff back in November, people were still going around reporting and talking and discussing about a doctor spending 3 hours doing CPR on Shanquella. It was just ridiculous, the stories that were going out there. And, so like I said, over here we were priding ourselves in sticking to the math and the science. In the beginning, when we would come together, we were talking about abuse and speaking out on it, because there's reasons why this case is being, swept on, or trying, they're trying to sweep it under the carpet. So that's why it's important that we continue to talk about it and continue to stick to the facts, right? Stick to it so we don't get distracted and then they do a Bugs Bunny on us, right? Shoot me now. All right, Jessica's greeting some people up in the chat. Let's see, we got some more folks showing up in here. Y'all hit that like button on the way up in here. And for those of you just joining, welcome to the All Around Attributed IN channel, where we talk about all kinds of stuff up in here. But mostly we are talking about the justice for Shanquella Robinson. We've been passing around a petition, signing that, because after a few months, like I said, things started to die down. And then when Shanquella's attorney, Sue Ann Robinson, and attorney Benjamin Crump got on the case and started to demand high-level diplomatic intervention, right? Which is what we are, attempting to do now. They had an opportunity to go out to Washington, D.C. We saw on the news that the White House sent out the representative to make a statement, to show something, right? We know that the FBI supposedly got on the case November 17th, 2022. And since that time has not said a word, has not said a word. A word has not been said, and nothing's been done. And it was kind of felt like a slap in the face when, maybe a month ago when the kidnapping happened out there, and we saw how swift the two governments were able to swoop in there and make it happen, right? So yeah, the Jessica says, don't forget to smash the like button on your way in here. Yes, smash the like button. I'm excited to be back up in here. And the other thing that happened during that time in the beginning, when everything was, happening, people started to fight amongst each other, content creators going back and forth at one another, and trying to do things to destroy people's channels and all this kind of negative stuff. And we were priding ourselves over here by, saying that we do things in a peaceful, respectable way. However, we don't support delusional thinking, so we're sticking to the math and science. It's something that we do over here, and we continue to do that. And I'm just excited to see that when I watch the old videos, the same stuff has been going down. Same stuff. Thank you, LaJessica. Yes, Jessica is one. What's up, JP6? JP6 is somebody. I thank you so much for your support. JP6 is back there. If you go back and look at the original videos back in the olden days, JP6 has been there from the beginning. So what's up, people? That's what's coming from JP6. Long time supporter of the channel. Thank you so much, JP6, for your comment and your comments and support, for showing justice for Shanquella Robinson for all these months. For over the last 5 months, that we've been putting this together, being a part of this thing here too. And you too, LaJessica, too. I didn't say that, but yeah, LaJessica looks like sipping on a Starbucks. Every time I see the picture, I don't know what you're sipping at, but it looks like a Starbucks. LaJessica, here we go. More people. What's up, Tavia Jones? Tavia, I ain't seen you in a little bit. Tavia says, when are we going to get the truth? Is there a Cabo 7, not 6? Yeah, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. When do we, yeah. Sup, people? JP6 is saying, hey to the folks in the house. And like I said, over here, we don't do moments of silence. We do moments of speaking. We're speaking out the names of victims, and we're speaking out the names of the abusers, right? Because there was even a point in time when they were trying to cast doubt out there of who actually was in the video. But if we go back to the beginning, we were told, the news was reporting. We started Nancy Grace, the mother, the father, had identified the person in the video doing the attack as Dejanay Jackson, and the person being attacked as Shanquella Robinson. So for those, when they were trying to put in the chat, what they say, can't see the face, can't have a case, something like that. No face, no case, or something like that. Anyway, we can rule that out like that because the people already know, they already identified that. So Jessica says, Irene, how do you feel about the autopsy saying her injuries occurred 12 hours before her death? I think that Mexican autopsy is a whole bowl of poop. That's why I say we go back to the original death certificate that listed the cause of death. Remember, like I was telling y'all, even though we know that an autopsy is different from a death certificate that our main concern is the cause of death. The cause of death that was listed and stated back in November when this thing first happened is severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. The other reason why I think the autopsy from Mexico is a bowl of baloney is because when it came out, right? Mexico had agreed to the severe spinal cord injury and luxation back then, right? Remember they said it was, or they had a different approach, and then this new autopsy. I'm gonna pull it up too so we can see it. And they had the nerves to backdate it, to October 30th. October 30th, these Mexicans then did a whole autopsy on a body that hadn't even been identified by the family. They were still looking for the body. And Mexico done a whole autopsy with results by day's end, right? So yeah, I don't believe that. I think they're trying to paint a picture to show that there have been more attack, like they had been doing more stuff, right? And these are new injuries, right? This wasn't reported in any of the stuff that we knew about. This all new stuff. We don't believe the new stuff, right? The new stuff are lies. See, D. Shay McShann says, "Good evening, RN and chat. Justice for Shanquella Robinson." Yes. And thank y'all so much. D. Shay, from back in the day too, people coming back up in here because like I said before, now it's the time for us to, wake up and get out there and start, really doing this stuff here, right? Keep talking about it and stuff like that. And, keep talking about it, sending those emails and signing a petition. Like I said, it's smarter to focus the energy all on one instead of everyone trying to, do their own something, right? Put our egos to the side and focus on getting the justice for Shanquella Robinson, right? And not on who has the biggest this or that, right? Because if we keep focused on the ultimate goal of getting that justice, then we should be fine. It shouldn't matter how we get it, as long as we get it, right? That's true. Let's see here. Yes, so we got some more welcoming people in the house here. It's not Starbucks. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, that kind of drink. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, all right. So, okay. It could be that too. I can see that now. Now you got me blushing. All right. Hey, what's going on, Karen? Karen says hello at All Around Natural Beauty RN mods and chat. Let's see. Who's that? Over there. Yes, Karen E is one. All right, here and see. Hey, Tavia, what's going on? Yeah, I saw you already. Because I heard the so-called travel agent Joya and others were there too. Okay, I think I heard something about that. This Joya person. This name has come up, and it was a name that came up in the beginning too. So this is, definitely a clue. And like I said, that one paper, let me pull up the document too so we can just have a visual to look at it. And I can point some stuff out while we're talking about it and stuff here. All right, because my thing, I was always concerned about that space there. That ain't what I want to do. Oh, okay, because I'm missing here. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So, but let me see. I'm going to go over here and make it a little bit bigger. I'll look at it from there. There we go. Bigger is better. All right, so this here is the one document, and I need to drop it in the chat, in the description box. This I did in one live. I want to drop it here too. This here is super important, y'all. This here is the 18-page document that Shanquella's attorneys went, and it's from Benjamin L. Crump and Sue Ann Robinson, Esquire, dated back March 13th. And Sue Ellen went on a fact-finding mission, and these were the things. This was this is the crapola that Mexico gave her, right? So the reason why, this here name, my question is, who is this space who was left this space for? Is this where Joya's name? Was she the female who this concierge said was there before they got started? Huh? Inquiry minds would like to know. So, yeah, I was curious about that too. That's a great question. Great question. But since Mexico been lying this whole time, it's hard to believe anything come up out of their mouth, Like Jessica says, Octavia, all of that are rumors, no proof of them being there. That's true, because if they're saying it here and then they got so many bones in their story, I feel like this story here was put out to address all of the questions that were brought up by we YouTubers when we was pointing out all of the bones, all of the lies and stuff like that. Then they make these stories here to address it, not recognizing that by writing this and putting these dates on here, that all we have to do is go back to the videos that were dated around this time. And we can see that they were saying something totally different than what they are claiming that they said back then. And even if this is true, then this is horrible that they knew all of this in this here autopsy and said that this was a violent death, that they knew this back October the 30th and they did nothing, right? So y'all losing all over because these new lies are making you look even worse. So all those injuries that they put in there and all that stuff is making y'all look worse. Well, we got y'all on the news saying that it was alcohol poison and you ruled out any type of foul play. Remember that? Mexico? Mexico, you remember? They just, did I read that? Yeah, I did. All right. So, she said, but I don't know. I feel you on that too. Yeah. But coming from, how come this ain't what I'm looking at? Can y'all see y'all can see my document, but it's not matching up here. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to go over here and read off some more people. Welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping the victims, right? And we know that Shanquella is the victim, and we standing up for her so we can get justice. We're uniting under that umbrella. And Tamika says, hello, beauties and beautiful souls. Hello. I know. I'm just grateful that, Tamika, again, another old school person here from back in the day, another OG. Welcome back, OGs, right? So we, like I said, everything has like cycles and rhythms to things too. And before, like I said before, when you get to the middle of something, that's when it's difficult because it's not new anymore. When it's new, it's exciting. You've got all this adrenaline for it. And then when nothing happens, which is what happened in this case, it's time to get back to reality, right? You got to get back to life because, life is still going on, right? And you got to get back to life. Gotta get back to life because the bills have got to be paid and you gotta eat and all that good stuff. Jessica says Shanquella Robinson tagged her during the game. Oh yeah, that's true. It's a good point. Tagged her during the game, and it was said she had to tag someone that flaked. That is true. I do remember that. Good one, Jessica. Yep, I remember that. And so if she tagged her because she flaked, then it's highly unlikely that she could be the person that should be listed. Look at this. Y'all cannot, it's not showing up. Oh, I know why. Because, wait a minute. All right, I might just have to do this over, y'all. I'm messing up here on I got too many boxes open. Let me close some of these boxes. Y'all wasn't even able to see. I'm moving my mouse around. I'm highlighting talk here. Y'all can't even see. All right, so let me see. Back up there. All right, so let's close a few of these here boxes. And then we'll go back to share and go here. Yeah. All right. All right. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Please hit the like button on your way in here too. All right. Everybody doing some greet. Hey, what's going on, Lena? Lena said she agreed. All right. I heard that. I think under something there. What I was trying to show was that Jessica had a good point. I do remember in the early videos when she had to tag and she was tagged and say somebody that flaked. Yeah. And so even if it didn't say somebody that flaked, I don't see her tagging someone who was there, right? Tagging somebody who was there. All right. So let's see here. You got some more people rolling up in here. They're giving the hands and all that stuff and the greetings, right? Greetings. Well, Jessica says at RN, I agree 100%. That's why I'm not sure if I can trust that autopsy or Mexican authorities. How was the case closed for cardiac arrest when you had this info? Exactly. That's why I'm saying that this here is a new lie. It's a new lie because even as I'm reading it, it's a new lie. They're trying to make a story so we can believe that, when we cracked on those, when I cracked on, let me take ownership of it. When I was cracking on those fake ass pics and so showing how they didn't do no CPR and all this stuff, they trying to prove that happened by painting this story about Shanquella had some burn marks that was post-mortem, right? Not knowing that it's impossible to get post-mortem burn marks from CPR because it's not going to administer a shock if there's not a shockable rhythm. If there is no rhythm, there is no shock. So it's impossible to burn the person because the machine's not going to shock. It's not going to shock. You can't just go push the shock button. It's not like on TV when they be like, again. It's not like that, right? But they didn't know that. Mexico didn't know that. So they just tried to say all this baloney stuff. And other clues, y'all, that these are lies is that since when did the Attorney General start doing autopsies? Right? Let's just take a peek at this so we can just and okay, so here's the part where this is the so-called autopsy. The so-called autopsy says the government of the United States of Baja California, sir, State Attorney General's office. Attorney General's office. Not the medical examiner. Not any physician, no doctor, no MD, an attorney, right? Just like the other information was coming from the police report. The police, the police was the one who declared it was cardiac arrest, y'all. The police can't do that job. They just cops. They don't have that kind of education. Anyway, so here this is saying that San Jose del Cabo, Baja California, sir, October 30th. Bernard didn't even know where the body was at October 30th. They hadn't even located her. Who gave permission to do an autopsy on October 30th? Which would have been a Sunday. So you mean to tell me, that they called? Oh, okay, so look here. This here, October 30th, right? October 30th is the Sunday. Here go another bone. October 30th is a Sunday. So if Shanquella expired on the 29th, who came to work on Sunday morning to do an autopsy on an American body that had not been identified or claimed by the family? The family hadn't located the body. The family hadn't acknowledged the body. The family they hadn't made contact with the family. And they did an autopsy? Really? On a Sunday morning? Why? Why? When they said it was alcohol poison. They don't do autopsies on everyone just because you expired. Why do they want us to believe that on a Sunday morning, the Attorney General performed an autopsy? Who came in to work on Sunday? This sounds like a Monday through Friday job to me. This ain't no emergency. Person already gone. Why was this done so urgently? Why? That's how you could tell this is a dry bologna sandwich. Sunday morning they was in there. Sunday morning they was in there. I don't think so, y'all. I think I just, they think we're stupid. They really do think we're stupid. Karen says at JP6, what's going on, my friend? All right, here goes some new names. It's Jess and Enthusians. Happy Tuesday, all. I think I butchered that. Thank you very much. Yes, happy Tuesday to all. All right. Welcome to the chat. Said, did she tag Joya Elise because she flaked the trip, or could it have been because she flaked on playing the game? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see here. All right. And we got some more welcoming up in here. Sorry, autocorrect. I know. Yeah, that's a tough one anyway. Karen says, okay, we got some more welcomes and all that good stuff here. Lena says, I was always told if the statement starts out being a lie, the rest is a lie. Yeah. 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 That's a pretty good indication. But yeah, so that's why LaJessica. That's why LaJessica, because this here story didn't come out until March 13th when Sue Ann Robinson, Shanquella's attorney, submitted this from her fact-finding mission, right? So this is just a bowl of poo that they gave to her so it can look like the FBI, the Americans, like we holding stuff up. However, I believe that we need to put the high-level diplomatic pressure, just like Sue Ann said, out there because something needs to be done. We should be able to charge them here in the good old US of A, right? So this is why I think this here is hysterical. On October 30th, when you tell these lies, you're not thinking about the reality of, the truth. The truth, like I've said before, the truth doesn't need explaining. The truth just is. So the truth is that they probably were trying to make it look like, they quickly did this autopsy and they were trying to get this justice, not recognizing that who's going to believe that Mexico, Polo Mexico, spent their resources to do an autopsy on an American Black body that had not been claimed by the family, right? They was, Mexico, and nobody, who gonna pay for it? The way they describe in Mexico sound like you gotta pay to play, right? So they just gonna do an autopsy on the house, huh? This is, they just did it for free, right? But they weren't thinking, right? Because they was too busy wanting to get down here and say say this here. This is what you're talking about, the 12 hours. Description of external injuries. Direct contusion in the frontal region in the median part of 8 by 4 centimeter with hematoma. They haven't even said nothing. Where is this? A contusion to the frontal region in the median part of what? The thigh? The torso? The neck? Where? That's how you can tell. They already gave the story here away by saying the Attorney General. So if you're a physician, is going to give the true location, right? They just putting out some words, but where? It says here. I'm so sorry. Let me see. I had discovered how to use this here highlighter. There can be a little highlight to this here. I love discovering these here bones. Okay, here we go. Where did I see that at? Now I can't find. Oh, here we go, right here. All right. So under description of external injuries, they said a direct contusion in the frontal region in the median part of 8 by 4 centimeter with hematoma. Where? They left out where it's at, right? Frontal region, that's just like a description. The frontal region could be a frontal region of anything. It's at the frontal region of what? my thigh, my torso, my back, frontal region of what? That there is an 8 by 4 centimeter with hematoma. This is gibberish, y'all. Gibberish. This is fake. This describes nothing. This here is written by somebody who has no medical knowledge. This is not a physician, right? This is not anybody. It's fake, y'all. Fake. All right. So let me just read a few more. Let's keep on for her, just to see here. All right. Then next line says direct contusion in the left iliac crest with a hematoma 7 by 3 centimeter. The injury happened more than 12 hours before death. How do they know that this injury happened 12 hours before death? Do anybody remember back in November when they had them on there saying that the reason why, the doctor couldn't see the bruises because Afro-Americans, with the dark skin and everything, don't show bruises, right? And now all of a sudden they can determine how many hours these bruises that they couldn't initially see in the beginning. Now you can see, when it happened, 12 hours before the death. Right? Does anybody remember that? I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? Anybody remember that? All right, so let's see here. I feel you on that one. Jess and Enthusian. Jess and Enthusian. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Says, yes. Why is line 1 blank? Who starts signing on line 2? Exactly. And according to these lies over here, there was a couple that was there prior. I think someone else had broke down that Nazir was telling a fib on when he actually arrived and that he was indeed there during this whole attack. LaJessica says, at Jess and Enthusian, Joya would have been in one of Shanquella Robinson's video. Yeah. She was nowhere on the trip. Yeah, I believe you, and I don't think she was on the trip either. But I do believe, I don't know. I'm just going to go with what was verified to us, right? So I think that if there had been, more people, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not going to even say what I think. Okay, I got my coffee together here. Let's see here. I feel you on that one, though, because the people had been identified. So the good news is that at least those names had got out there in the beginning. She Love says, however she passed, it was because of the attack. Period. This BS muds the water. Stop. Yes. That's why I say over here we stick to math and science. We saw the attack and we read the death certificate. We read the injuries, severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. We saw when it happened. We saw who administered it. We know that after receiving those injuries, the life expectancy is 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Thanks for welcoming the people. Karen says, welcome to everybody. That's right. Yes, and we got some more greetings and stuff going here. It looks like I got a comment here from Jess and Euthusian. Says, I believe I saw a female leaning down on the table in Shanquella's video where she was walking around looking for them when she walked into the room with everyone. I don't remember seeing anybody. I do remember a male jumping out in front of her, kind of hastily walking like he was trying to, warn the people. And she coming, like the way he was walking, right? A lot of times you could tell a lot of things in people's body language. That's why I always say that you want to be able to stop, look, listen, and feel for energy. You want to stop, look, listen, and feel for vibes, right? Because even just watching that video, most people stated that they felt some kind of cold vibes, that they were ignoring her, that they was giving her the cold shoulder, like you felt it, right? Because energy, like that is very palpable. You can feel it. Like if someone was arguing in a room right before you came in there, you can feel it. As soon as you walk in there, you feel like, hey, and I walk in on something, I can come back. I can come back, yes. But, you could have seen the video with that. I'm not saying that you didn't. I didn't see it. I did not see that. That's right. We're saying hey to everybody. The Jessica says at RN, I thought you had to get permission from the family because they cost money. Exactly. That's why I'm saying that this here is baloney phony, because how the hell you doing an autopsy on a body that ain't been claimed by an American? Mexico. Po-ass Mexico is spending a limited pesos to do an autopsy on a body from a Black American. They ain't got no pesos from the family yet. Why they doing that? They didn't even ship the body until they got the pesos. So why the hell are they doing an autopsy on a Sunday? These dummies should have looked at the calendar, and at least if they had dated it on Monday, perhaps it would have been more believable. But to be stupid enough to date it for the 30th. Do you see how, some of these lies are so, ridiculous? It's almost an insult. Like, really? Y'all come up with this new stuff? Yes, a dry bologna sandwich. That's right. Yes, thank you so much for laughing out loud, because laughter is good for the soul. It's good to laugh, you know what I mean? So it's not always serious and sad. Hey, Sunshine Rose. Sunshine Rose says, hello, RN in chat. Howdy, 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 and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, and what I really enjoy is that, okay, so when they put this this here baloney out, every time I read it, just more stuff just pops out at me. It's just it's funny, but it's super funny. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple more jokes up in here. All right, so here we go. All right, so we got a contusion on the right iliac crest with a hematoma 4 by 8 centimeters. The injury happened more than 12 hours before the death. All right, so 12 hours before the death, what? That would be on the Friday, even though this doesn't even make sense to even try to add this up, because these are other ways you can tell lies when they put in all these little extra details. The 12 hours, before the death. Right? All right. So this is the one that's super funny here, this frontal region. With no where's that, right? Because this is not a doctor writing this, right? That's how we know that there was no doctor on the scene, because there's nowhere that a doctor is going to spend 3 hours working alone on a patient. It's not going to happen. That doctor would have come in there, took one look at Shanquella condition, and been like, call 911, right? Or, the person's DOA, right? All right, so we welcoming Sunshine says, or an extra body part. All right, so Jess and you, Thusian, how wish you would pronounce that for me. All right, they definitely are trying to weasel out of taking any ownership. There we go. Good way to put it out there. Yes, they are definitely trying to weasel out of taking any ownership of malpractice on Mexico part. Justice for Shanquella. Yes, and that's why they putting this little stuff out here, right? All of this here is painting the picture from way up here. All of this here, they paint, they're throwing Dejanay up under the bus on all this stuff here. And then this autopsy is painting the picture that they all was beating up on her, before the video. That these old injuries, right? That when the dad talked in November, and when the injuries that they mentioned were the bump on the head, they said the swollen face and all that. So they didn't say nothing about all this iliac crest and all, what I mean? In the frontal medium. She had a contusion to the frontal medium external fixator bilateral. I'm laughing because, any nurse or doctor, anybody that's even working in healthcare knows I'm just speaking gibberish. It's exactly what they're doing here. They're just putting out terms that don't go together, that don't make any sense. The frontal medium. And all right. So I'm so sorry here. Okay, here we go. But I like what you said there. This really makes sense here. Weasel out, right? So that's why, okay, so if they said back in November that, this was alcohol poison, there was no foul play, it was cardiac arrest, the doctor did this and that, how is it that on October 30th, y'all did this autopsy on a body that had, for free, y'all just did one, with no, with no motivation. What motivated you, Mexico, to do an autopsy, right? Because there wasn't no pesos involved, right? And if y'all just got, y'all had to get the money to see if she had money to pay for the doctor. So, if that's how y'all all hard up for the money and stuff, what makes us believe that y'all did a, a promo, pro bono? Y'all just did a freebie. Y'all did it on the house, huh? This here autopsy is on the house. All right, so you see here. All right, Leonetta Young says, hello, Natural Beauty. Hi, chat. Girl, you are cracking me up laughing at this supposed evidence. I'm trying to, I can't even read it without breaking into laughter because it's so ridiculous, right? But when you're telling these lies, you're not thinking, right? So they was like, yeah, we just make it for October 30th. Duh, that's a Sunday. So, not only, I'm just saying there's certain areas in, if you work in the hospital, hospitals are open 24/7. There's certain jobs that's 24/7, right? Law enforcement, that's 24/7, healthcare, as far emergency type stuff, 24/7. Like 911 can't be like, okay, oh, it's Christmas, we off, right? It's always open. The same with police, law enforcement, always open. Hospitals always open, right? Now, the autopsy, that sounds like a Monday through Friday job. Or if it was some special case or something like that. But how, less than 12 hours after the person expired, are you doing an autopsy on a foreign body that hasn't even been claimed yet? So they need to go and stop. Stop with it. Just stop. All right. I'm not sure what you doing over there. All right. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good because if they can't see through this, I don't know. Like, come on, USA, FBI. Y'all need to see this. Mexico just jerking us off, right? They're just, I don't even know why. To me, it's like it's a laugh, like they're just laughing at us to say, like, yeah, we just tell them anything, right? Karen says, Ella Jessica, did you decide not to return the greeting? Let's see here. Deanna says, also, in the beginning, they said heart attack. Yeah, I remember that too. But in the autopsy, it says no info, or heart. That's exactly right. Let me see. Let me scroll down on here. Thank you for that nugget there. Okay, that's right. Let's see here. All right. That is a good point. It has to be up in here somewhere. See here. Some systems here. Lungs. Okay, here we go. Lung. Okay. It says lungs, congestive, basal, edematous, hemorrhagic. What does that mean? What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Congestive. That's a description of what? Basal edematous? What? Hemorrhagic. What are you talking about? All right. Then it says cardiovascular system, heart, no info. Pericardium, no info. Color, red. Gallbladder, size, consistency. I mean, like, come on. All right, so it says one was supposedly the cranial cavity. No info. No info on the cranial cavity, yet you're listing the brain weight and brain matter as edematous, slightly congestive, excuse me. Cortex, no relative info. Central nervous system, ventricles, edematous, hemorrhage. Cerebellum, edematous. Brainstem, edematous. Medulla oblongata, normal. Now, how are you gonna have swelling in the brainstem but not the medulla? It's all part of this. It's one. It's all together. It's impossible. What are they talking about? They sound ridiculous. This is the part that's funny to me. Okay, let me get down to this part here. Let me talk about the CPR burns. let me shout out some more names here real quick. And then because they say that Shanquella got some burns. She received some post-mortem burns. But thank you for bringing that up, Deanna. That is so true. The Jessica says that, Karen. What do you mean? I spoke. Oh, come on now, y'all. All right. Like I've said before, this is not Personal. This ain't personal, y'all. It's just as big a sin to take offense as it is to give offense. It's just as big a sin to take offense as it is to give offense. So stop getting offended at stuff, right? Stop taking stuff personal. Let's see. And why is there no mention of her lip having injury? Exactly. The injuries that was listed back in November, no mention. They saying that the head is normal, and then yeah. But they're busy trying to paint the picture of these new injuries. Thank you, Deanna. I love your engagement here. Everyone noticed the lip. Yep. Yeah. All right. All right. Hello to everyone. Hello, all my beauties and beautifuls, right? We all special here. We're all happy to be here, right? And nobody is dissing anybody. We love you. Okay. All right. So no, none of that stuff. Y'all stop. Let's see here. Yeah, I already got down to there. All right. Deanna says, and why? Okay, I already said that. Lynetta, see there? We got some greetings. Greeting. Says, Deanna says, we would have heard by now if there were someone else there. That's true. And two, it could be all part of Mexico still trying to throw some more, confusion out there too. That way, people, well, I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know. I don't know why to even try to make up the lies when we got the video. It's like, why are you trying to make up the lie? We got the video and we got the cause of death. Y'all might as well just be like, look, I'm just going to turn myself in and plead for mercy. I mean, like, yeah. Deanna says, I don't believe the concierge statement either. Exactly. All right, so let's go. We're going to go back on over to this concierge statement, right? And they giving you clues on this too, right? He already told you how he get down. He gets you the job done that nobody want to do. He working the doubts. Let's see here. All right, concierge. All right, now this is supposedly was said on November 17th, right? But we didn't hear this statement until March, right? So they're saying that on November 17th, 2022, this was the vibe. This was the feeling, right? Okay, so let's see here. All right, this is supposedly the witness. Concierge says, this is my statement given to investigation agent Suni Jezreel Papico Milian in reference to the facts that are being investigated today, informing me the reason for my presence and the interview. I have been employed by blank or Cabo Villas in the United States, where I work as concierge in attention and customer service. I provide service assistance with doubts, any service that is needed for approximately 3.5 years. On October 28th, 2022, I have been informed of the arrival of some guests to the Villa Linda 32, which is located in Padre Quino Puerto Fonderos, Los Cabos, San Jose del Cabo, and Cali Padre Gillian. The day before, I was sent the work schedule of the villa that we are to take care of as concierge. So I knew that the guests of the Casa Linda Villa would arrive around 3 p.m. on October 28th, 22. The main guest was Dejanay Jackson with phone number blank, 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 who contacted me around. Look how they blank everything else out, but they put this fake number down here. I should, let me scribble that out too. Oops. Oh, well, I thought I was going to scribble it out, but it didn't work. All right. So anyway, who contacted me? Who cares? Who contacted me around noon by text message to report that her flight had been delayed due to the weather and that she would be telling me her new arrival time, confirming me that it would be at 17:19 p.m. 17:19 p.m. I always give those little, odd numbers too when they put these little stories together. All right, so that's 5:19 p.m. And you put the 17:19, you don't need to put p.m. because military time knows that 1700 is 5 p.m. Anyway, then she asked me if after, now look here how they're mixing it up too, right? Here they're just they're speaking in the regular time, then they put the military time. All on the same page, right? Here we go up here, right? They would arrive around 3 p.m. Then down here we jump to military time, 17:19 p.m. Then she asked me if after arriving and taking the transportation, she could stop to do some shopping, to which I responded that there is no problem. Then she told me that she would be letting me know the time they were going to arrive. Now, here we are almost finished with this first page, and this is all speculation and story. Has nothing to do with what happened. Yet, on October the 17th, November the 17th, you trying to tell me that this would have been the statement that the concierge would have been making? Describing the person's, their state of mind. None of this is admissible. This is just for our entertainment purposes only, right? Okay, so let me get on back down here and finish this up. I responded that I already read that. All right, so here we go. Then she told me that she would be letting me know the time they were going to arrive. She texted me when they left the shopping center. So who is they? She arrived at the Casa Linda Villa around 2000 hours. So that's 8 p.m. So they were shopping from between 5 and 8 p.m., right? I had arrived at the villa about 15 minutes before, and upon entering, I see persons of slim build, Afro-American, about 1.75 meters tall, about 25 to 30 years old, to whom I introduced myself. Since he asked me who I was, I told him that I am his concierge and that I will be supporting his vacation in everything he needs. Also at the villa were Chef Blank and Waiter Blank, who are employees of the company and co-workers. Moments before, when I saw the guests, I was surprised since I wasn't aware that there were guests already at the villa, to which the chef told me. Now, if he got there 15 minutes before 8 p.m., and they were supposed to arrive around 3 p.m., why would he be surprised that someone was already there? If Dejanay said her flight was late, right? So, bone right there. All right, so Chef told me that a couple had arrived at the villa a few hours before. However, I only saw the male guest described above. They probably put this in there too to have us, oh, I wonder who the other person was. These low down dirty. Okay. I prepared my registration sheet, the information I have to provide to the client. Guacamole, tortilla chips, margaritas. Like again, why is he listing all of this stuff? This here 2 pages of blah 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 blah. Right? What the hell we care about some damn guacamole, tortilla chips, margaritas, and I waited for them, for the main guest, for the main client, who arrived almost immediately in Cabo transport. They got off with their groceries, bottles of alcohol, and tequila, put down their suitcases, start taking pictures of the villa. They looked excited. In total, 5 arrived. 3 women, 2 of them African American, and 1 between Afro American and mixed Latino of them. The main one named Dejanay Jackson, who of sturdy build, tall, dark skin with thick voice. So like they painting their pictures up in here real good, right? Painting the pictures up here real good. None of this has anything to do with what happened. Why are they making these statements? Why? November the 17th. Why is that part of the statement that they have to go through the list of the groceries? They had tortilla chips, guacamole, quesadillas, enchiladas, right? Okay, dry bologna sandwich. All right, so here we go. Deanna says, and I listened to Dad's interview. Come on, here we go. Deanna said, I listened to Dad's interview again, and they never called him about Quilla's neck. He found out from the funeral home here. Wow. Wow. Yes, I know. I remember, Dad saying, that him and his brother had to Google and search. They had to be detectives. They had to go look for Shanquella. Karen says, Jessica, it was next below my green. Please, oh, Karen. Oh, stop. You good. It's just as big a sin to take offense as it is to give offense, right? So we good. No need to apologize. Deanna says, yes, please explain, RN, that a hematoma is not a broken bone, because that's the rumors industry. What? A hematoma is just a fancy way to say a bruise, right? It's just blood under the skin, right? It's a bruise. It's a bruise. Sometimes, it could be a collection of blood, right? You bleed in on the inside, and a hematoma, it could be large, depending on how much blood is trapped under there. But it's just a bruise. It's just a fancy way to say a bruise. A fancy way to say a bruise. And these are just distractions, because we know that the death certificate listed 2 injuries to which we saw those 2 injuries being inflicted. We can match up the atlas luxation. We can match up the severe spinal cord injuries. Yes, exactly. All points to Deja. Exactly. That's what they do here. Like, she did it. 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 Yep. You see here. That's what they are doing. Yeah, they are throwing Dejanay under the bus. But we don't need to dismay over that either, because here in America, from what I've seen, when I've watched, I've binged watched, like I said, I'm not into the legal stuff, but I've watched multiple seasons of the first 48, the ID Network, what's all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Fatal Attractions and Fatal Affairs and all that stuff and all those things. And I am gifted in figuring out the stories, because most of them be real typical, the same old stories. People cheating, somebody, off. Anyway, I know all that stuff. So, yep. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to, they're trying to fix it up, because once the finger got pointed at them and their ring, what they do with these alcohol intoxication alibis that they've been selling for decades, this way they trying to, put it off on them. They've been running this scam, this ring for decades. And now that these clumsy Negroes have, brought the heat on us, now we got to make sure we, detach ourselves from them. They manipulated us, right? They lied to us, and they lied to the doctor. That's why the doctor did CPR on Shanquella, because the Cabo 6 didn't say that they had broke her back and broke her neck. Did y'all think that we would believe that a trained physician, if we could see the injuries from the videotape, what makes you think that a trained physician would not note those injuries and administer CPR on this person, right? And two, if Shanquella was already gone 15 minutes after the injury, and y'all said that the doctors and them didn't get there until after 2, and then another story said after 3, then in the beginning y'all said that she was already, the maid found her already deceased. How many times y'all gonna change the story? 5 months ain't that long. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. There we go. Y'all good up in there. Love, love, love your neighbor as thyself. I'm just joking. All right, Jess and Euthasian. This is my third time saying it a different way. I hope the family has a real autopsy done once they got their princess back. Yeah. And two, like I said, we have the cause of death, and that's all that matters. It's the cause of death. They try to get you distracted on these other things, right? They try to get you distracted on these other things. The death certificate lists that cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. Yes. No one called the family. Yeah, exactly. Except for who was the one? Kylie, right? Called the family. He was the one in contact with the family. And then if we look at the old videos, the sister said it wasn't even 30 minutes, right? That they called them between 5:30 and 6 p.m. And not 30 minutes later, they were saying that Shanquella had passed. So what happened to the 3 hours of life supporting measures that was administered by the physician and the Red Cross workers. When did that take place, right? So that doesn't add up. And that's why I say over here, we stick to math and science. Deanna says, you don't bother to notify the family before you do an autopsy. Exactly. Exactly. They don't, yes, that costs money. Someone has to pay for that. So if Mexico's so poor, where they just doing freebie, right? Come on. That's what I'm saying. This is fake, y'all. Fake. Deanna says, what if dad didn't find her? He is right. That lady was his angel. Yes. Yes. The truth, is going to come out. And we're grateful that the truth, comes out. We're grateful that the truth does come out. And so I think I'll kind of perk things up. Maybe I'll play a video. It's only about 29 minutes. I kind of have some of this letter in it, and also the old video. This video is a video from November, when the thing first happened, when they was the police report, when they was getting us distracted with that and all kind of stuff. It's just funny to see how I guess they didn't remember the first set of lies. That's why it's always important to just tell the truth, because the truth is just the truth. You don't have to think about the old lies. And most of the liars don't think about prior lies. When they tell you a lie and you dispute it, destroy it with the truth, most habitual liars will just come with a new lie. They don't even think or care that this new lie totally is in opposition of the old lie. So, and then when you expose them for that, they'll just go tell another lie. And what happens is people tend to get distracted by continuing to, it's like an ego trip, because you're now just spinning your wheels, battling the lies, by defending the truth, right? So they're, and I fell for that too, where, they just exploit you on trying to defend the truth, right? But stick to the original truth, and and that way you don't get distracted and start going down those dark tunnels. Deanna says, and wasn't that Mexico holiday weekend? I see you, huh? Right. Because that's true. It was something about the death or some kind of little parade, something they was doing. You're absolutely right. So again, who was at work? Who coming in on a holiday on a Sunday to do an autopsy on some black girl from America? Really? Who nobody paying for? Who's paying, right? Who is paying? Yeah, you feeling me in there? Deanna says, exactly. And if we as laymen can see this bull, that's exactly why they sent to the president. Yeah, but I, had discovered some things about the president to, this might be, pretty deep with the political reason why nothing's being done. Like I said before, with this whole femicide thing and these new, laws or the support that, the community, alphabet community is receiving, they are, they're overlooking these things and, making excuses. And so unfortunately, I've discovered that perhaps President Biden is in support of, it's not on the side of, getting justice for Shanquella Robinson. So again, we may have to, stand strong and lift our voices. Lift our voices and, fight. Lift our voices and fight. I didn't want to be political, but, might be forced into this. It's a joke. Yes, it is. You are so right. I know. Yes. And more laughter. I feel you on that. But the medulla is normal. That's how I was feeling when he described all this swelling, in the other parts of the brain. Medulla oblongata, normal. I feel you on that. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Says, LaJessica says at the end, right. How do you know if I wanted you cutting into my child's body? Yes. Thank you. I'm saying they would have done better to do, somebody should have been matching up the dates. But these liars are very arrogant and they think that, they're smarter than people, right? And they weren't counting on us to be using math and science to, frown in the face of these lies. Frown in the face of these lies. Exactly. Yes. Says they treated her like garbage because they thought dad wasn't coming. Exactly. But he had the money to get, and I'm sure they were counting on them not having the funds to retrieve the body, because we saw that, just, days later that there was another, person who lost their life and they blamed it on alcohol poison. So it tells me that Mexico got a, little something going on where you can, if you're trying to, get rid of somebody, you just take them down there, you do the thing, and you leave them there, and you say alcohol poison, right? A lot of times, I've said before, when people pass, a lot of times the families aren't ready. Hence is why you see people do these GoFundMes and things like that, right? So they're not prepared to be able to pay for a funeral, let alone to bring back a body in another country, right? So sometimes people aren't able to retrieve the body of their loved ones who are, found deceased, right? So I'm sure, they was probably counting on that it would be too difficult to try to track her down. She's lost over there in Mexico. A lot of times these criminals don't be thinking either. She's lost over there in Mexico. No one's gonna, be able to track her down or get the money. They were trying to make it more and more difficult for them to get the body back, right? And so with Mexico just giving them these little, bogus police statements, right? That's part of the ring, y'all. It's always going to be some crooked people. It's not that the Mexican government is corrupt. There's corruption within, right? So there's somebody who got the hookup, right? They got the hookup on how to get the credit cards, right? There's always these scams going on, right? Don't be naive, people. Scams going on all over the world, right? So somebody had to hook up in the police department where we can get you the police statement that say alcohol poison. And people aren't really thinking that the police can't declare a cause of death, right? So they see the paper, it says the police, it looks official, and people just accept it, right? So, people, that's how they was getting down and stuff. That's how they was getting down. Deanna says, it's like all the injuries that were told are not in the autopsy, and what shouldn't be is it's a joke. Yeah, exactly. I was saying, sounds like a Telemundo. Deanna says, Mexico and the Cabo 6. Yes. Yeah. They like this. It was And then I don't know what the USA is doing, because this don't make any sense, because they should be arrested here, because there shouldn't be no loophole where you can just go kill somebody in a foreign country and get away with it. Shanquella has rights. She has rights here as an American citizen. And there's some things, let me see here, I got a paper on it, where there are some things that they could do. Oh, I didn't realize how late it is. There are some things that we could do here. We can get them on conspiracy, because if this wasn't planned, I don't know what was. Deanna says, and Nazir on the fence, he gonna fall wherever the safest place is. Yeah, he think he on the fence, but he was the one giving up all those clues and stuff too. It wasn't for him running off at the mouth. Yeah. Deanna says, after they saw the video, that concierge just decided what he saw on the video and to cover his, yes. And the funny thing to me is, I was trying to leave this here alone, but I got to go back over here because y'all, the way this sounds, the way this reads, it's obvious that they have been watching we YouTubers, because all of a sudden, okay, the first guy, it was in the morning time between 7 and 8:30, I deduced. He deduced that it was between 7 and 8:30. That's what it says right here in the bedroom, because the sun shine on the headboard. Why would he have said that back November 19th, right? Because her time of death was not in question. So why are they addressing these concerns here, supposedly back in November? That's why I'm telling you this is fake, right? Because we didn't see this until March, when they had time to think about their story. But it's highly unlikely, it's not even logical, that they would be talking about the time on here. Because why would anybody think, they wouldn't know that this is something that needs to be addressed, the time of death. November the 19th, nobody was saying, we were still all in shock of seeing the video. Nobody was saying, hey, that looked like morning time. We assumed it was morning because of the clothing and lack of clothing that we saw there. However, it wasn't a point that was out there that needed to be proved, right? So you can see here in these stories that they are addressing the questions and concerns that have been coming up in the YouTube chats. Because if this ain't Sleuthy Lucy, he said on this here, I just got to read this little part here, right? It says, well, let me see here. I just got to start from top. It says, I am the administrator of the Villa Casa Linda 32, Colonial La Playa. Let me skip down to the story here. Let's skip out the Spanish. Once I observed on my cell phone the video circulating in social networks where two of the guests who had registered in the villa appeared, where one of them, dressed in pajamas with shorts and blouse, possible color pink, white, with black and light colored cap. That is a big description, right? Right? That's a lot. It was her. If this ain't them throwing Day under the bus, all right? Right? Who talks like this on an interview? Why do we get all these details, right? The guest who is registered in the villa, where one of them dressed in the pajamas with shorts and blouse, possible color pink, white with black and light colored cap, appears hitting another female person who was naked, right? So at least they are still sticking to the story that Shanquella was naked, right? The one who is hitting the other is the person named Dejanay Jackson. So again, when people say, how do we know who was in the video? She's been identified by multiple people as being the attacker in the video. So I accept that, right? Whom I identified because I served as the translator on the day of the event when the authorities were in the village conducting the proceedings. Okay? So why were the authorities there if it was alcohol poison? Why would the authorities be there? Okay? This is in the video. It can be seen that the headboard is illuminated. Why did they just jump into this sentence after talking about, the clothing and all this? So why are we now hopping in here to say, in the video, it can be seen the headboard is illuminated by the sun rays. And due to the location of the sun rays, I can deduce. Oh, he couldn't wait to use that word. I can deduce that it is between 7 and 8:30 a.m. Since the bedroom 1 and 3 are waterfront, and it is easy to deduce, that word again, it is easy to deduce the morning schedule since the sun rises on the seaside, illuminating those rooms. That is the room number 3, because that is the only room, the only one that has a hammock outside of, and the hammock can be seen in the video. Also, after 10 a.m., the sun rays begins to reflect towards the floor of the bedroom, since there are some pergolas on the outside of the room. I can also say that the villa, both at sunrise and sunset, and that's because another YouTuber, Martin Lewis, has said that, sunrise and sunset is difficult to tell the difference, right? All of this here is from this deduce. John, you can hear on my channel, John Q saying this. You can deduce? Yes. These fools been listening to us, y'all, and they just trying to spit our words back at us to answer these questions here. So again here, so now he's, he's biting from Martin here. All right. The sunsets are very alluring for that reason. The owner decided to place wood on the windows to prevent the sun rays from entering. I know this because I am the administrator of the villa, and on many occasions, I have been in the rooms at that time of morning. Finally, I wish to state that the villa was reserved from October 28th to October 31st, 2022. That is all I have to say. What did that statement offer? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Deanna says, did we ever confirm if there was weather issues or if that was true? I have no clue. I don't know. You see, exactly. If autopsy was done on October 30th and shown neck broken, why wasn't a statement taken October 30th? Exactly. And if they knew October 30th that this was, a violent death, why did they say that it wasn't, and ruled out foul play? They ruled it out. said alcohol poison, cardiac arrest, right? So if that's true, then they just look like losers all around because, if y'all let them go on that with all these injuries, she had injuries in various stages of healing. 12 hours here, some post-mortem burns, a frontal medium, So yeah, don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate that. Yes, let me see what these likes is looking like. Yeah, I guess it's playing it kind of close. I thank y'all so much. All right. You see, Deanna says, so he remembered that, right? I bet. Yeah, so, they have some selective memory here. And like I said, it's hard to keep up with a lie. Them are code words. Code words? Which ones? LaJessica says at Deanna, exactly, because I don't understand what was the purpose of him saying Dejanay signed Nazir's name on the sign-in sheet. What was that important to mention? Yes, when she wrote more than just his name. Exactly. They trying to show that maybe his alibi ain't all that. Maybe some holes in there. Like they pointing the finger. They telling, right? They blame shifting, You get caught using that, you're on your own, right? I sell you this here alibi, this here lie. We can sell you the alibi, but you get caught using it, you're on your own, right? That's what this is about. They got caught using it, so that's why Mexico's like, no, they tell us they didn't know. No one say that she had broken neck. That's why the doctor did 14 rounds of CPR and burned her chest by giving her shocks. Right? Deanna says, OMG, I think they had another code word. I can't wait until we get to that part to see what you all think. On this autopsy, y'all want me to keep reading it? And see, however, is a code word. What is the code word? Let me go on back over here and see what y'all talking about. Let's see here. Where is that? Y'all talking about code words up in this? All right, let's see here. Deanna said, Atlas Jessica, exactly, because he didn't know about Nazir arriving late until later when the news came out, so he added it at the end. Yes, that's what I'm saying. These new details, highly suspicious. Highly suspicious. It's like they're trying to make sure that, they all, gonna be blamed in this. The Jessica says at RN, maybe someone was asking him questions. I don't know. Yeah. Lena says, Deanna, yes, her injuries has a lot of codes. Yes, I see what you're talking about. It's like they're trying to say, she had all I guess, I don't know, iliac crest. I mean, this is like the hip waist, I showed y'all the bones where that's at. And yeah, I don't know. Didn't they say something about genitals too? But yeah, they're just trying to say this stuff, and so it supports their theory of the doctor was there working on Shanquella for 3 hours when we know that unless they were stranded on a desert island, there's no way that a physician is spending 3 hours working on a patient. They would have been called to cold. Been. No one's trying to do CPR in the field. If you start CPR in the field, You are for sure you call 911. You get the AED and you're doing the work until help arrives. No one wants to be doing CPR, and no one is capable of doing CPR for no 3 hours. You would be exhausted. You couldn't do it. You can't work out for no 3 hours. Yeah, cold. Okay. Are you really a nurse? Yes. Yes, I am a registered nurse and I've worked in many different areas. One of the areas that I worked in that got me talking on this case is that I spent a lot of years working with spinal cord injury patients. So I was able to see the neck injury in the video and help to describe it. So yes, Daniel, that cool kid. Yeah, I'm a real nurse. And also I've worked in trauma and critical care. So I know what a banged up, battered up body looks like too. And that's why I say that they didn't dress that body. They didn't have the guts. The Jessica says, so who concluded the COD on the death certificate from the autopsy? Was it two different people? Yeah. Because even this cause of death is not even the original cause that we heard about. Like they totally try to minimize this. Okay, we're going to read the conclusion here. It says the conclusions. We can say based on the aforesaid and the findings that the cause of death of whom in life was called was called Robinson Shanquella Bernada. Number one was atlas and medullary dislocation. So, but the medulla oblongata had no injuries, but is listed as number one for the cause of death, right? So the original one only listed two. So look at here. Remember how I told y'all about that math and science, right? So we had two. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So where did all these other ones come? Now they got 8, right? This is wrong. This is wrong, right? How you gonna have a pre-existing pathology that says unknown, right? So why is this even listed? Why is this listed? Pre-existing pathology unknown. So this, if it's unknown, why is it there? Why is this there? This would not be on a document for the conclusion because it's irrelevant and it doesn't say anything. That's just like putting on their last bowel movement unknown. Why is that on the conclusion on an autopsy report done by the state's attorney general? So I'm just saying, like, this shows y'all that this is total baloney, right? Number 4, time of death between 17 to 20 hours when the necropsy was performed. Okay, so let's see. Did they tell us exactly when this was performed? Let me finish reading these off, and we're going to scroll up to see if they put the start time and stop time on this here. Signs of survival. Yes. The cadaver shows signs of torture. No. So, signs of survival. Yes. How? How? If you list in the first injury as the head being knocked off the head, off the body, that's not survivable. Determination if the injuries are post-mortem. No. We found defibrillator injuries consistent with resuscitation efforts resuscitation efforts. This injury is in the xiphoid appendix. Again, more blah 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 blah. Like this isn't even how this goes. None of this makes sense. End of necropsy, 11 hours. So this is 11. That means 11 a.m. 11 a.m. So that was super fast, right? They went on and got this done so they could get on to the late Sunday morning service at church. Went on in there early on a body, for free, right? With no, authorization to the family. It didn't already went up to the proper chains. I got to go back. Let me see up here. All right, let me finish on up here. All right, so the cadaver was identified. Yes. All right, so that was it there. So they're saying that they completed the autopsy by 11 a.m. Wow. Mexico is remarkable. They good. And see, Deanna said, right, everything in that CI concierge report after 3:30 is fake. Okay, I feel you on that. See, and that's why I'm saying, let me get on back over here. This is how you can tell when they start to lie, right? They're doing all this little switcheroo stuff. So here he's just talking with the regular time, and then all of a sudden switch it up to military time, right? These are tactics, y'all, to keep you confused and distracted on where the real truth is, right? He arrived at the villa around 3 p.m. Then all of a sudden we scoop down here, 1719, we're talking in military time, right? So this the code y'all talking about? Yeah. This thing is full of secrets here. You see, Jessica said, did the autopsy state anything about broken ribs? I don't believe no broken ribs. Let me just go on and read through this autopsy report. Just a few pages. All right, so here's the autopsy. It says a necropsy report, and it's dated October the 30th, 2022. And license Sony Jessel Poppycock Million. Criminal investigation agent assigned to specialized unit for the investigation and prosecution of miscellaneous offense by hand. Now, this name stands out to me because it is also the name of this person who's doing the interview. Sony Jessel Popico Million, right? That name right there. So, how many hats, how many jobs this guy got? How many jobs he got, right? He does the autopsy. He's do the investigation. I mean, come on, right? Law and medicine are two completely different industries, right? Look here. There's that name again, right on up. Wait, no, it's not here. This one is Santiago Miguel Mariquin Gonzalez. I just thought it was suspicious that Sony is up here for interviews, and it's the first name on this here medical autopsy report. It said by hand, right? The undersigned attorney, Renee Alberto Galvin Segura, expert forensic doctor of Baja California, sir. All right, so where is this doctor's information, right? District Attorney Office. Since when these doctors are, working with the district attorneys, right? That the district attorney is going to so this is a lot to expect, y'all. Okay, so let's just say that, that they do, right? The doctor gave them the report. Look at how fast that not only did the autopsy get done in record time, it was given over to, the attorney general also, right? And went through other hands. Come on now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Let's see here. Wait a minute, where am I at? Expert forensic doctor, Baja California, sir, district attorney office, ID number, and we see that they give up some fake numbers, right? Dejanay's arrest number. All right, number 632734 and SSA registry 79278, assigned to the Forensic Service Bureau, named to intervene in SJC 3063-2022, page assignment 222048, and MF 1319 per official letter. Look at all this blah, 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 blah. So, okay, so report issued. Examine and identify a cadaver, determine cause of death of whom, when alive, was named Robinson Shanquella Bernada, female, approximate age 25 years old. Determine approximate time of death. Make a detailed description of the external and internal injuries, as well as the other objectives of the necropsy following international accepted protocols. So they went through internationally accepted protocols within a few hours of Shanquella expiring, before speaking to the family. They went through all these chains of commands. Okay, so we already can start to be suspicious here, right? How likely is it that on a Sunday morning, Mexico has rallied together the international acceptable protocol? They went through all that and got a doctor to come in there and do the autopsy, instead of the doctor, making their own report, they, give the information to the attorney general, and, they put together the autopsy because their training somehow, it helps them to interpret the information for the actual physician. Okay. All right. Material: surgical table, saw, scalpel, thumb forceps, measuring tape, camera. So, and they did all this with minimal equipment. That's all they needed was a surgical table, a saw, scalpel, thumb forceps. I've never heard of thumb forceps before. I don't know what that's for. Anyways, a few items here. That's all they need, to do this here autopsy. Measure tape and a camera, right? So, they do an autopsy with minimum supplies. The method: the analytical and deductive medical forensic scientific methodology will be used in this intervention. Techniques used: Virtual Rotinsky mix photographing and video during the procedure. Techniques used: mixed, photograph, yes. Sampling, yes. Description: forensic, legal, or medical examination and necropsy. The cadaver was received packaged in a white plastic bag, duly labeled and preserved with a chain of custody registry. Wow. Brought at 20:30 hours. So at 8:30, they had the body. 20:30 at 8:30 to the autopsy table at the Medical Forensic Service on October 29th. Holy smokes, they really saying that. All right, now hold that thought. They saying at 8:30, the body is on the autopsy table. Now, up here, you see here. Let's go back to the timelines, right? So they say that, all right, so here we go. All right, so, oh, wow. So keep that in mind. At 8:30 on the 29th, Shanquella is receiving the autopsy. All right, so on the 29th, well, all this went down. All right, so here we go. All right, so here we go. The next day, this here's the concierge talking about his thing there. They done had dinner. Let me just go back up here. All right, so this here's, I went to the room at the main client, Miss Jackson, to mention to her that dinner was ready since 20 hours and that if it needed to be extended, they would be charged an extra hour, which she did not agree, and sent everyone to dinner since everyone was sitting in her room. Again, painting the picture to show that Dejanay was the ringleader, right? Minutes later, they all sit at the table and begin to drink a lot. That's when I met Miss Shanquella, who was the last one to approach the table to celebrate, noticing in her a strange attitude. She seemed not to fit in with the others. When I introduced myself, she did not greet me with a smile. Now, this sounds nothing like Shanquella. With the few seconds that we've gotten to know Shanquella through the videos of her last moments, she was the only one there that was smiling and laughing and woohoo. So, find it highly unlikely that she would be behaving like this before, during the food, because that's when they was toasting up the drinks. Remember? Drink, right? Everybody else was looking all gloom and stuff, but Shanquella and whoever the male voice was the only one saying, yeah, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Drink, right? So who is this person talking about? Does not sound like Shanquella. She seemed not to fit in with the others, right? Trying to paint the picture to show that she was singled out. She didn't fit in with the others. When I introduced myself, she did not greet me or smile. She was indifferent. Nothing to do with the atmosphere of celebration. She was out of place at that party. I made sure that they were seated, having dinner, sharing and celebrating at that, and that they had the information for the internet, the audio, the operation of the house. Once everything was ready, I left. All the clients, chef blank with phone number blank and waiter blank with phone number blank, stayed in the place. The next day at 1:50 or 1:52, I received a text message from the main guest, Miss Jackson. So if this is the next day, this is, the 29th? And this is the 29th, the next day. I received a text message from the main guest, Miss Jackson, asking me if I am available and which was the nearest medical service. I greeted her. I greeted her and asked her how I could support her and if she was looking for a hospital. She answered yes. I think my friend has alcohol poisoning and needs emergency service and someone to speak or translate in Spanish for us, right? I think my friend needs emergency service, right? They're saying here that Dejanay indicated, I think my friend has alcohol poison and needs emergency service. Emergency service. So why did the concierge contact emergency service, right? They're saying here, the Dejanay requested emergency service. I offered to send her a doctor so he could determine if it was necessary to go to the hospital, and I told her that that doctor speak English. She answers, yes, please. I tell her that it costs $100 for the visit plus the medicine. I ask her if she agrees, and she answers yes, as soon as possible. So again, they have Dejanay saying this is urgent, right? Urgent. He's still saying he's waiting on the doctor. I tell her that I will make the call to request the service, to which she answers, yes, please. Around 2 p.m. on October 29th, I called Dr. Blank. So he didn't call the doctor until 2 p.m. Who is our contact for medical attention of our guests and whose telephone number is blank, right? Now, see here, it says that this is a doctor, a male doctor. He said he, right? So why are they telling us that it was a lady doctor there? If he called their doctor, right? They're saying that this guy got the job. So it wasn't like they called, 911 and the lady doctor showed up. The concierge said at 2 p.m., he called their doctor that worked for their company. Who is the contact for medical attention to our guests? He. Okay. So there's a slip up there. And in about 4 minutes, Miss Jackson texted me asking me what I had been told, and I answered her that a doctor is going to contact her to check her friend, and she replies, okay. Okay, now, if someone is back at you 4 minutes later, again, this here is indicating something's urgent. So why is the concierge ignoring Dejanay, right? Attached to the document is a screenshot of the conversation with Miss Jackson, and where she asked me for medical help, and the conversation is recorded on 3-letter size sheets of paper attached here too. Now they just really telling on themselves how negligent the concierge was, right? So now we jump down to 1625, which is 4:25. So this here is 2 hours later, right? So if he called the doctor at 2 p.m., I'm not sure what, they don't say when the doctor got here, but at 16:25, Blank texted me and oops. All right. That's my phone. Okay, so but at 16:25, Blank texted me and told me that the girl has to be hospitalized. All right, so 16:25, 4:25, this is 2.5 hours after, the doctor had been called. We're not sure what time they arrived. Didn't say that here. Right? At 16:25, they're saying that a doctor, that she needs to be hospitalized. Right? At 16:25, Blank texted me and told me that the girl has to be hospitalized because after being evaluated, she has to be hospitalized, and that her friends were finding out if they had insurance, to which I asked if she is in serious condition, and the doctor said no. If you have to be hospitalized, that is serious. You don't just get hospitalized for, shits and giggles. You just don't, right? So listen to how vague this sounds, right? So be real particular on the time here, very specific on the time. At 16:25, Blank texted me and told me that the girl has to be hospitalized. So whoever Blank is obviously not the doctor because it said he asked the doctor, right? Blank texted him, said the girl got to be hospitalized because after being evaluated, she has to be hospitalized. I mean, like, even that makes no sense. And, okay, so then the doctor says it's not serious, right? So what doctor would say that the person needs to be hospitalized, but it's not serious, but that she does need an IV? This doesn't even sound like something a doctor would say. If the doctor deemed you needed to be hospitalized, they are calling to get arrangements for that. The doctors aren't trying to do no physical work. They're not. They want people to do that stuff. They're not going to be working out in the field without, the support of a team there. All right. Okay. So, all right. So it's not serious, but she does need an IV. All right. That's what the doctor said. And that she is practically unconscious. There's more lies right there, right? So that doesn't even make sense. Either you're conscious or you're unconscious. There's no such thing as practically unconscious. If you are practically unconscious, that is serious. That is serious. There's never a time that you are practically unconscious and it's not serious. That is not a normal state to be practically unconscious. And that is why she had to be hospitalized. So listen to all these contradictions in these few sentences here, right? The doctor says she's not serious, but practically unconscious, which is serious. Later, the administrator blank with phone number blank called me to ask if I requested an ambulance for the villa. I told him no. He tells me that security of Puerto Los Cabos is asking him about the request and access of an ambulance to Casa Linda number 32. Later, so this here part here is to show their proof that somebody called for an ambulance inside, right from there. So this all happened after 6:25. So that means that, for at least 2 hours, they supposedly there working with, whatever the doctor came in with, right? For 2 hours. There's no way that they had enough supplies to do anything for no 2 hours, right? All right, so we don't back up here. All right. Later, Blank called me to tell me that the guest had died. All right. So here's where the next part of the lie starts. Later, right? Now, all throughout the top part of the story, they have times. 16:25, 2 p.m., 13:50, 13. You see how they mixing it up? With all these lies, military time, regular time, mixing it all up. And then when they get to the part about the death, later, Blank called me. They don't give no time. They just say later. Later, Blank called me to tell me the guest had died and asked me to go there as soon as possible. That he is already on his way to help whatever he can. I went to Puerto Los Cabos from Cabo San Lucas after having spoke with Blank. Upon arriving at the villa, I find a couple of municipal police officers talking to Blank in the parking area of the house. What are municipal police officers doing there? Why are they there? Why are they there? Talking to Blank in the parking area of the house, and one of the guests who was African American descent, regular build, short hair, was coming and going from the house. All right, now listen again. It says, one of the guests who was African American. They don't say the gender, right? That's how we see how the story here, right? They taking out details. They being vague. Later, right? One of the guests. Which guest? Male, female, right? You was very descriptive up above. She had on some pink shorts with black spots and the pink, you specific all around the other places. But now we get into this vagueness. And one of the guests who was of African American descent, regular build, short hair, was coming and going from the house and calling by cell phone a relative or friend in the United States using Blank as a translator. I also saw the main client, Miss Jackson, making contact with the male guest and on several occasions entering and leaving the house. So now we say male guest. So this here is more distraction because when they say this, are you talking about this person? You see here how this is circular? They call this word salad. Word salad. All right? Says here, during this time, No, I also saw the main client, Miss Jackson, making contact with the male guest, and on several occasions entering and leaving the house. During this time, I am waiting for Blaine to tell me what to do, since he are my concierge team leader. So I enter the house, where I initially observed the guests relaxed, calm, sitting in the living room area near the bar and dinner table. Now, listen to this contradiction, right? He's first describing, sounds like they're pacing, going back and forth, making phone calls, right? This sounds very anxious. Now, all of a sudden, they're sitting in the living room, calm and relaxed. Why is this part of a statement that's being made November 17th? Why is this picture being painted like this? This sounds like a story and not a statement. My purpose was to look for the main guest, Miss Jackson, and give her my condolences. Why? Why did you feel you needed to give some condolences to the main guest? Why? Huh? When I talked to her, I gave her my condolences. She thanked me and told me that they had talked to her friend's mother and mentioned that this was so fast. Okay, here we get down to the time now. Okay, remember the time they said that the body got there, at 8:30. Okay, all right, so here we go. All right, so I asked her if I can give her a hug, to which she said yes. Here's some more blah, 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 blah stuff. And she gave me a very indifferent hug, very cold. I saw a very sad guest, a skinny girl, and I saw that she was in pain. I left that area and stayed outside the main entrance to give them space to mourn and grieve. Minutes later, I heard laughter. I approached Blank, who told me to leave to go back to my villa in Cabo San Lucas, that he will be in charge of following up and supporting the clients and the authorities. I said goodbye to the client and left for Cabo San Lucas. Later, around 21 to 21:30, so around 9 to 9:30, again, now this is where you can see they starting to mix the things up. Because now we go some specific times, right? So he had lost track of time earlier, now back on time. The main guest contacted me to request transportation to go to dinner because they had not eaten anything all day due to situation. So I called Blank. Okay, so we're going to stop right there for just a second, because how in the hell at 9:30 they asking, for rides when, according to this, they doing an autopsy, right? Autopsies are done for murder cases or suspicious deaths. Why weren't the Cabo 6 detained? How were they around at 9 to 9:30 trying to get a ride, right? When they said they received the body at 8:30. So at 8:30, they receiving a body that they went through all these chains of custody, but nobody has questioned or detained the suspects. Let me see. Y'all must be over here asleep. I'm about to turn it in. If y'all ain't paying me no mind. Concierge, yes. Okay, let me see here. Oh, I got some. Oh, okay, y'all talking. Oh, okay, I'm behind. All right, I'm gonna kind of jump down to the bottom here. See, y'all been sleeping on me. All right, Deanna. Okay, we got some people up in here. Cabo says, hello, Jessica. All right, let's see here. What's up? Tanya Carter says, hey, y'all. I know I'm so late. Okay, yep. There we go. Oh, it's all good. We going back off into the stuff here too. We picking out these lies and marching them up. You see, Deanna said he's the main dude. He's the one that stayed with them throughout everything and gave the shortest and least amount of info. Yeah. And TC said, and I have been missing in action. Yeah, you have. But it's all good. Better late than never. Let's see here. We need to question him. Yeah, whatever. We need America to step up and arrest these people that we didn't see commit this act on video. Right? Conspiracy, all kind of stuff. They guilty, right? They're guilty. Guilty. Deanna said, interesting, he mentioned owner. Oh, yeah, we heard some stuff about the owners too, huh? Deanna said, cause both Dejanay and Nazir mentioned owner, and Dejanay asked for owner's number. Interesting. Deanna says, I think Dad would have mentioned the burns too. Thank you. He mentioned everything else. Exactly. Because let me get back over here. It says over here that they could see the burns, but before they took the clothes off, they didn't. The burns were visible without removing the clothes. Hey, C. Reeves. C. Reeves says October 30th autopsy, violent death. Why did they wait till video came out in November before investigation started? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They making themselves look bad, because if y'all knew all this back in November, y'all some sorry sons of that. Yes. All right. Lynetta says, yeah, RN, you told us from the beginning that the defibrillator wouldn't work without vital signs. Exactly. You place the pads on there, right? And then you remove your hands because it's going to analyze. It says analyze. It's analyzing to see if it detects a shockable rhythm. Asystole or no heart rate is not a shockable rhythm. You cannot shock a dead heart. So it's impossible to receive defibrillator burns on a body. Right? Thank you, Lynette. Yes. Don't work. It would say no shock advised. That's exactly what it would say. Deanna says, and no signs of injury on ribs or torso besides the burn. But 3 hours of CPR? Okay. Exactly. All that would have been fractured up. Yeah. You ain't pounding no chest for no 3 hours without cracking up some ribs. And nobody is physically capable of doing no CPR for no 3 hours. There's no way. No way. Ebony alert. What's up, Marshmallow? Who is Ebony? All right, this must be some spammy stuff up here. See here. Denisa Jones says, what's crazy is Winter is in the medical field, so why was Nazir assisting with CPR instead of Winter? Yeah, them some lies. Deanna says Winter was busy calling different ambulances to try to take Shanquella. Nazir was taking cover-up videos. Khalid calling mom. Yeah. They had other jobs assigned. That was doing a lot. Alina says injuries on her hip and that space or cut between her legs. What is that? Something wrong with that injury. All right, let's see what you're talking about here. All right, so you see here, we got let's see here. Description of postmortem signs. Located postmortem region disappeared when pressed. Yes. Rigor mortis, yes, located at reducible cadavers. Located at reducible cadaver spasm. That's not a location. Dehydration, yes. Coroners with black spots, no. Lower body temperature, yes. 20 degrees centigrade. Transformational signs. Putrefaction, no. Discoloration period, no. So then what about all these hematomas that y'all was talking about? If there's no discoloration. Let's see here. Emphysematosis. Emphysematosis. What are they trying to say here? Emphysema is a lung disease. Mitosis. I don't know what that means. No. Let's see here. Qualitative, no. Skeletal reduction, no. Mummification, no. Maceration, no. Saphification, no. Cadaver intermonophona, no. I don't know what most of this stuff means. Skeletal reduction, if you reducing the skeleton, that's like putting it back in alignment. Like, I don't know. It sounds like they're just blah, 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 blah. This doesn't even make any sense. Description of external injuries. Let's see if it gets any better. Direct contusion in the frontal region in the median part of 8 by 4 centimeters, right? So this describes nothing. This makes no sense. They don't give a location. They just say a position. What is this contusion on? Where is this hematoma located? Frontal region of what? In the medium of what? These people is crazy. Saying then they have a direct contusion in the iliac crest with hematoma 7 by 3 centimeters. The injury happened more than 12 hours before death. What kind of injury? A hematoma to the left iliac crest, okay? Contusion in the right iliac crest with hematoma 4 by 8. The injury happened 12 hours before death. So she's got injuries on both hips. I don't know why this is there, and it's 12 hours prior to death. What does that mean? More indication here. Contusions in the left hand anatomic snuff box with 2 centimeter hematoma in the left big toe. A 1 centimeter skin excoriation. Where? Like, this is so vague and it's not saying anything. These are just words. That's just stuff in here. The right eyeball has sclerotic internal hemorrhage zone of 5 centimeters. What does that mean? All right, so the right eye has sclerotic internal hemorrhage. All right, so I can get that. That's some bleeding in the eye, right? But what does this mean behind it? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Zone of 5 centimeters? Okay. Sampling, yes. Cavities, vaginal, anal, nail scrapings. Why are they listing these things? Nail scrapings? Vaginal, why, what? prompted them to do this type of an autopsy where they're doing nail scrapings. Right? Like this was a straight up murder, right? When they said that there was no signs of foul play. It was alcohol poison that led to cardiac arrest. But here, a few hours after she's pronounced dead, you're doing nail scrapings and checking vaginal and anal cavities. Blood sample for study, packaged and given to the forensic chemical lab through chain of custody. How did they get this chain of custody so fast on a weekend? Sunday morning, right? When they got the body Saturday night. They and them was looking for transportation to go get food at 9:30, and the body was already being autopsy. They was already rendering an autopsy. Where they felt they needed to do vaginal, anal, nail scrapings. But the people that was there are free to go. Come on, y'all. This is all contradicting. Post-mortem fingerprints, yes. External examination of cadaver. Clothing. This is where it gets really stupid. Tank top black, right? I know what I should do. Let me find the picture, the fake pictures. All right, here we go. So they make sure that they described it right there. Tank top black, jockey brand size large. Purple shorts without size. Love University brand. No underwear without shoes. Venocysis is, in the right extremity. Venocysis. Never heard that term either. Anterior thorax and xiphoid show signs of defibrillator burns in 6x5 area. And this is the only one with post-mortem characteristics. So anterior thorax and xiphoid. All right. So like they probably heard this xiphoid process in, talking about CPR, but that's not how this would be documented here. These defibrillator burns. Because it wouldn't be over the xiphoid. You're placing your hands over the xiphoid for the compressions. The pads aren't going there. They're in different areas. So these defibrillator burns, the one that they're saying here is not even in the right area. And again, they couldn't get it because she didn't have a heartbeat, so it wouldn't have been able to get any defibrillator burns. These injuries can be seen before taking clothes off. How can you see the injuries before you take the clothes off if it's located on the chest? And she had a black top. So I'm not sure how many people can see through black, but I think that it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to see through black. But they are saying that they were able to see these burns that's 6x5 centimeters without taking the clothes off. All right. Okay. Hopefully I'm getting down to your injury here. So, the cavities were open with a mixed technique, and this was found. Head, the frontal region of the scalp and muscles show a 12 centimeter hematoma. Skull, no info. So how are you going to talk about a 12 centimeter hematoma on the head, but no information on the skull? Are you aware that the skull is the head? The skull is the head, right? But they don't have any information on that. They have information on the head, but not the skull. All right. Cranial cavity, no information. Again, they're talking about the head. But the brain, they know the brain weight, which is the contents of the cranial cavity, the brain, right? But they don't have any information. However, the brain weight of 1,200 grams, brain matter, edematous, slightly congested, cortex, no. Relevant info, central nervous system, ventricles, edematous, hemorrhage, cerebellum, the cerebellum is edematous, brainstem, edematous, medulla oblongata is normal. How can all the brain be edematous and the medulla oblongata is normal? Like this, come on, this is ridiculous. Lungs congested, basal edematous hemorrhagic. So she's got some bleeding in the lungs. I mean, this doesn't even make sense. What does this mean? Basal edematous. What is basal edematous? Hemorrhagic. They're just putting words together, y'all. Doesn't make any sense. Cardiovascular system, heart, no information. Pericardium, no information. Yet they had claimed that the cause of death was cardiac arrest. Abdomen, no information. Digestive system, no information. Esophagus, no information. Stomach, no alterations. Liver size, normal. Color, red. Gallbladder size, 10 centimeters. Consistency, normal color, greenish. Pancreas, size, 16 centimeters. Consistency, normal. Spleen, 12 centimeters. Intestine, small, no. Info, large intestines, no info. Genitourinary system, no info. Right kidney, no info. Left kidney, no info. Pelvis, bladder, no info. Upper extremities, 2 centimeter contusion in the autotomic snuff box. I thought the snuff box was something about the hand. So now you're talking about upper extremity. Lower extremity in the left big toe. A one area. Like, listen to all of these silly details when the cause of death is severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. Like, all right, let me just finish. Hopefully, did I get your injury that you're talking about? I don't see nothing between nobody's legs. Let's see here. I'm see 2 centimeter contusion on the autonomic snuff box, lower extremity in the left big toe, 1 centimeter skin excoriation, backbone, no info, osteomuscular system, no info. Wow. No info. There is a 20 centimeter area from the vulva region down to each thigh. What? "20 centimeters from the vulva region down to each thigh." How could that even happen? Down to each thigh? that the description doesn't make sense. If you start your incision at the vulva region, the thighs are separated. Like, that doesn't even make sense. This is silly. They're just trying to throw some words out there to make it look like something they attacked her genitalia or something, I guess. I have no clue what this means. This means nothing. Video, no evidence taken. I'm sorry. Video, no. Evidence taken, yes. What type? Organic. Sampling taken, yes. Blood samples for clinical tests. The evidence or samples found were sent to, they got some little lab stuff here. Notes, comments, and special analysis. We can say that the autopsy findings, bibliographic notes, quizzo, coroner forensic medicine, individualized findings, external no, internal no. So what does this mean? This doesn't even look like a real signature. I mean, a real stamp. It's baloney. And here are the conclusions. So this here vulva injury to the both thighs, is that what you're talking about? That exactly. It makes no sense. This is silliness. Silly, silly, silly. All right, let me get some more of these comments and then we're going to come in for a landing. This is starting to get ridiculous. Let's see. Deanna says, and when doctor says she had colonic... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's right. Back in November, there was a colonic seizure, right? And she had defecated on herself. So she should know that, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. They changed the story so many times. I totally forgot about the seizure. Even though there's no mention of that, and Quilla was in the same clothes. Quilla wasn't in, yeah, they said that because they know that the pictures that they tried to tell us was Quilla had on those clothes. That's why they tried to describe it. That way people be like, see, they did dress the body. They ain't dressed the body. Now I'm just going to go show this one quick short on this whole dressing the body stuff that they ain't done. And this is a rabbit hole. A rabbit hole that they didn't... Oh, I'm going to do it. It's short. They did not dress the body. These are lies. Okay, here go a quick little short here. This will be cool for us to come on in for this here landing. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. That ain't my shorts. All right, so here is, okay, let's just do this one here. Make it easy. Do I got a... Oh, yeah, mute.
Her death as cardiac arrest.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't mention the severe spinal cord and neck injury.
The police do not have the authority to declare a cause of death. This has to be done by a physician. Here is the clue right here. Here's the... Now, see that police report. Red flag. Police report. Police report.
Injuries that the death certificate lists as Shanquella's cause of death. The autopsy also doesn't mention alcohol. It states she died within 15 minutes of her injury and that Shanquella Robinson was found unconscious in her living room.
The autopsy should overrule the police report.
All right, he said the autopsy should overrule the
when the doctor arrived.
All right, so let me see here.
Letter states that federal murder charges could be brought in this case. What's the rationale for that?
Y'all hear that? They're saying, this is the news, people, that federal murder charges can be brought in this case. That's what we need to be putting this high-level diplomatic pressure on them, on the government, FBI, to prosecute and do something about this.
You know, you can sue in federal court for criminal if, in fact, there is a criminal law under federal law, or if there's a constitutional issue. And here, what the attorneys are trying to say is this was international, so that gets you in federal court. And also, they're trying to say that there was international commerce in the fact that the phone went from one place to the other place and there's evidence there. So they're trying to get the case back to the United States. They're trying to get the case in federal court.
And I told y'all that, right? That was our hope and prayer, that we do something here in the good old US of A. Because look, it makes.
And they never returned to the villa. Robinson's family believes that
Here we
Jackson
go
is
with the
most likely
time
in the
different
United
again.
States, and they're calling on the White House to either prosecute her here or extradite her back to Mexico. So, Terry, the family's letter states that federal murder charges could be brought in this case. What's the rationale for that?
You know, you can sue in federal court for criminal.
No, this domestic violence, like I said, it's new for me. I remember this guy back in November reporting. Y'all remember this guy reporting? But anyway, I can go on and on and on and on and on. So I'm going to answer a few more of these here. I got some questions, and then otherwise, it's already 1 o'clock. Let's see here. Anything after 3:25 for sure, a lie. Yeah, I agree with you on that. What's up, Tamika? Tamika said, bologna is all Mexico is dishing out. Yes, a dry bologna sandwich, and I am not having it. Deanna says, we'll accept for when he met and with them and then them laughing. Yeah. Yeah. All those different descriptions and stuff. Deanna says, I believe that because I think Dejanay clowned him for asking for the hug. Yeah. He just trying to show the picture to be like, see, she was so cold. You know, here I was trying to be concerning and helpful. You know, she should have been so sad that, you know, her friend, you know. See, Lynetta says, with all the rounds of CPR, you would think her ribs would be broken. Yeah, exactly. But they ain't listing none of those injuries. That's what I'm saying. They chasing their lives. They're just trying to put these stories out there to, you know, make their lives believable. Deanna says at Lynetta, 3 hours for sure, and Quilla just 120. Her chest would have been bad. Yeah, nobody is 3 hours worth of CPR. You are done. There's no way. There's not enough energy in anybody. Denitha says, notice in your page 7 that the witness is also a victim. Well, let me see. Oh my goodness, page 7. All right, let me see. Oops. All right, so let me see here. All right, let's see here. You said page 7. All right. You see, notice in your page 7 that the witness is also a victim. Page 7, witness. What? Let me see here. Biodistribution. Specialized. I don't see. They got the witness name blacked out here. I just noticed that this here investigator was actually the person every time I did the autopsy. So he's doing 2 jobs. Him M got 2 jobs. And see, Deanna says, yes, Denitha, I think they felt played, not because they left, because they helped them do that, but because they said bad things about Quilla. She always does this, and it's their birthday, etc. I think they already I think they only saying this because they got caught. So now they, shift the blame. Like I said, if if somebody is doing some undercover stuff for you and they got the hookup, if you get caught using it, they're gonna be like, they're gonna distance themselves from you. So I think that's what Mexico is doing. Because, they probably still doing that same, running that same ring. You see, Deanna says, and the leads prop said, and my sister got unalive while I was here, so they felt bad and let them go. Now they paid them, let them go. They ain't nobody feeling bad. They already had this all set up and planned. Anita, hey Anita, welcome. Says it's not going to happen. It's not. Yeah, we hoping that we're gonna get this justice here. Deanna says, and then they saw that video and said they got played. Yeah, that's what they're trying to say. That my thing is this: anybody? Okay, so they saw the video and got played, but how about in the beginning that Geraldo with the interpreter when he was going on his rounds, making his rounds on the scene, said that the maid found her, deceased in her room, already stiff, right? I need to look up the tools. Yeah, you need a lot more for that. They left out a whole bunch of tools that needed, but they got that what is it, finger speculum or something? I don't see what is that. See, Deanna said he basically admits to knowing something was wrong and doing nothing. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They just incriminating themselves. Yeah, yes. He got that from the video, and he talking about Elise. Yes, I said they've been watching and listening to us, and that's why some of this stuff in this document here sounds like responses to the questions that we were bringing up. It says, what is in the white plastic bag that he labels? Exactly. It's just something to try to sound official. My thing is that it sure happened fast. So she went from the villa straight to get on the autopsy table. Thank you. She said, right, RN. That's right. Deanna says, Sue Ann said that 2 previous ambulances refused to take Quilla because she was unalived and needed to go to the morgue. They wanted it to be reported she unalived in the hospital. Yeah. When we are in the hospital, nobody wants the person to die on their unit, right? So a lot of the times when I was working in the ICU, people, the person would, pretty much be gone. They call the code. We go up there to run the code, and we're bringing them back, to the ICU because, at least if they show that they died in the ICU, it's like we was doing something for them. Nobody wants them to die on the floor because it's like, okay, well, did y'all try to do something to save the person? So there's been times where, they bring them down there, the person already gone. They just pumping them with the air in the air ambu bag and giving them compressions. Everything's all artificial so they could, die in the unit. But yeah, nobody wants them to die there. That's why the ambulance like, we ain't taking no bodies. The person was already dead, they got rigor mortis setting in. There's no way that, so, yep. And isn't interesting that Nazir said to be AF. All right, I got me a list of initials. Let me see if I know which one that is. I can't find it. Anyway, I do have some some initials where I'm learning to know what all these initials are. All right, so let me see here. Deanna says that he was expecting a man, but a woman came. Why would he know that unless he was there? True. Yeah. Deanna said the only person that had that fact was Dejanay in the text. Yes. That wasn't when they was trying to pass Quilla off to the hospital. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's see here. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to be coming in for a landing soon here. Let me see here. Some people didn't join the chat. But we know she was gone because Khalid called before that. I know. So according to, those old videos, the sister had said, when they called them around 5:30 or so, that it wasn't even 30 minutes that they called back, that Khalid calls back to say, that she passed away. So that code, the IV. And RN, if you notice on the autopsy, it mentions the IV. I don't remember it mentioning on IV. Oh, that they tried to start an IV? Yeah. This autopsy is all full of baloney stuff. It's just so many details when, okay, so the death certificate totally, brief to the point, and all this blah, blah, blah stuff here, all these lists of the things, these findings are ridiculous, stupid. They just listing stuff here. Pre-existing pathology unknown. Like, why is that part of this conclusion? This is ridiculous. They don't even say how, after receiving injuries, the life expectancy. Like, this is so, you can tell a real, person ain't put this together. This is baloney. We went from military time to later. Yes, exactly. Military time, regular time, then later. That's how you can tell when people are faking stories and stuff, right? They'll be very specific on the details of the things that they want you to know or the way they want you to think. And then for the rest of the stuff they want to go over your head, they'll be very vague, right? And they didn't even list the gender of the person that was walking in and out of the house. Deanna says, that's who I think the owner is or who Dejanay refers to. I missed something on there. Yeah, it sounds like a military operation. I was thinking something because those moves that Dejanay put on Shanquella were so, precise and, strategic to attack the neck like that. Like those moves were, right on. Targeted moves, done to, create massive damage. Let's see. And then it says, and how they get in without the gate calling. Oh my goodness, they be leaving out all kind of stuff. It sounds like a compilation of videos and news stories. Yes. And they can't figure out where to put the lies in because they keep contradicting the old lies. They just adding in filler in the autopsy. Yes. If you show that autopsy and that video to a doctor, he would laugh. Yes, just like we laughing. It's funny. And isn't that funny? That's what Nazir didn't see at first. Yeah. The bump on the head. And, they got the bloody eye on the wrong side. It should have been on the left-hand side, right? Where she was kicked at. You see, it's like you can connect everything together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The truth doesn't need explained. The truth just is. Let's see what Nazir said, a little red dot on her eye. yeah, he did kind of minimize it. What's up, PM Channel says hello at all around that you be RN moderators all in the chat. It is funny, Lena. I feel you on that. Says, and when they was told it was a heart attack, I know. See, Deanna says, and if you're doing that, why aren't you contacting the police and the parents? Exactly. Parents ain't never heard from no officials. So if they whisking this person off to get an autopsy hours after they expired, this would be a really good time to contact the next of kin. There's no way they're doing an autopsy on a body that has not been claimed by a family member. There's no way. Yes, something is wrong. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. They had to mention the IV. Yep. To prove, to support the lie. Denisa says venosilis is indicated in shock and as prophylaxis for shock. In certain cases of hemorrhage, in dehydration, as in any case where nutrition and fluid must be supplied when other routes fail. Venosilis is indicated in shock and as prophylaxis for shock. In certain cases, all right, like I said, I've been a trauma nurse, an ICU nurse, and never have heard this word before. Never heard it. Never heard it. Never heard it. And this is another way how you can tell when there's a bunch of lies, because these aren't the real terms that people use. And this is something that they probably Googled or looked up, and they're just placing these words here. This blah, 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 blah. In dehydration, as in any case where nutrition and fluid must be supplied when other routes fail. Are you saying this is the access that they were using? Now, I've heard of an IO access, but where did they get that? And that goes into the bone. This here is blah, 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 blah. This is blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yes. That's the broken neck. That's it. All right. Almost 8 inches. 20 centimeters. Is there an extra body part? And how is it making it to both thighs? Are the thighs attached? I mean, it sounds like you're dissecting a mermaid. Let's see here. Deanna says, I think they added that because we all know this was done after and they wanted to show more doubt to Cabo 6. I agree with you. Denise says, I think Dejanay asked for the owner's number because the Linda Villa 32 is owned by both persons in Mexico and U.S. All right. Yes, you're right. Look in the checked boxes. I can't do it no more, y'all. Sleepy. I'm going to see here. I'm almost done. Next time. All right, I'm sorry. Look where the check boxes are on page 44. Okay. Thanks for the extra information there. I can do that. All right, page 44. What am I looking for again? All right, check boxes, page 44. All right, so we got body, institution, state, Baja California, sir, date, time, witness, injured party, victim, Sung Hee, Jasil, Poppycock, Million, title, AEIC, assignment, specialized unit, said check boxes, criminal justice, place of interview, name, blacked out, date of birth, blacked out, place of birth, professional trade, education, voters code. Oh, over here, let's see, native. I don't see. And I sleepy. All right, I'm gonna do a few more things here. Tiffany says, "What happened to Geraldo's girlfriend, the woman who did all this talking, disappeared?" Huh. Yeah, somebody was up here on this channel a while back. I don't know. I guess they didn't did enough of chopping down people's channels and reporting people and all that stuff. I don't know. Good question. You see, meiosis is excessive constriction of the pupils of the eye. Yeah, so why are we getting all of this, these details, right? It has nothing to do with the cause of death, these symptoms, these, side effects here. No, it's a typo. Okay. Oh, you're still on. Cool. I'm trying to get out of here. See, they had to make an autopsy on the fly. Yeah, and with what info that they had. Yeah, but listening to what we've been saying here on the social media. That's probably why it took until Thursday to get Quilla to dad. You see. Yes, Liza. Yeah. I don't know. Probably since I've been putting out these shorts and, been accusing the Mexican reporter of lies, they probably ain't trying to hear none of this stuff. All right, greetings, y'all. Okay, so, right, an IV. These are just distractions. See, here is Google layman non-venocyclist uncountable. The introduction of liquid into a vein by an intravenous drip. Okay, so that's an IV. That's an IV. And it's impossible that they got an IV on a corpse. That's why you're trying to use these crazy words that don't. No, who says that? I can't even pronounce it. The introduction to liquid into a vein by an intravenous drip. Sounds like an IV to me. It says witness victim. Witness victim. Okay. Page 41. Okay. Why am I missing here? Page 44. Witness victim. All right, here we go. Witness victim. Let's see. Legal basis, article, paragraph, political, Mexico, article. Here, witness, injured party, victim. I don't see it. PM channel says right above Suni's name on page 44. Y'all really trying to help me out here. All right, so this is the page 44. Page 44. Suni's name here. Information about the interviewer. That's what I see above the name. I don't see, there's nothing there, y'all. Specialized unit, right above Suni's name on page 44. Both boxes of witness and victims are checked. Oh, that is true. Witness checked. Injured party is not checked, but victim is checked. So is that like that on this one down here too? I mean, for this one up here too? Man, they doing some sneaky stuff here. Okay, yeah, this one's only witnesses only checked. Huh. Thank you, PM Channel. That's a good find right there. Look at all these bones up in here, man. This is like one of those little bitty tiny fish. All these choking on these bones. They ran with the truth, started coming out, and it showed their lies are different than Mexico lies. Yeah. They couldn't give the autopsy report in Spanish, so they are trying to give it in English. They think we is stupid. Yes, they do. And see, the witness is also a victim. Yeah, and also the author of the autopsy report. Yeah, everyone there is doing multiple jobs. So I'd like to thank y'all for coming out tonight. And like I said, we, putting this stuff together. Are we putting out stuff? So we just keeping more eyes, more energy, more attention, keeping Shanquella's name out there, keeping it hot for Shanquella Robinson. So thank y'all so much for stopping by. Like and subscribe, share the video, keep up the energy for justice for Shanquella, and I'll see y'all in another video. Peace and love.